behalf of the Lakeview School District, I would like to thank you for taking the time to view our video on professional learning communities. Professional learning communities, or PLCs, are a researched way to transform a traditional school into one of sharing and collaboration. The main goals of PLCs are to provide protected time for teachers to collaborate, share best practices, develop and implement common assessments, and learn from each other, with the overall result being that of enhanced student growth and achievement in all areas. We are just completing our 4th year of PLCs at Lakeview, and the staff thought this would be a great way to demonstrate our work in professional learning communities.
PLC stands for Professional Learning Communities, and the Lakeview teachers meet twice a month in their PLC groups when the students are released on early out days. Each PLC group has 7 members, and the idea is for us to meet and work on developing these formative assessments, and that helps us direct our instruction. So we're not spending time on information that the students already have learned and mastered, and we can focus our instruction on the skills that the students need to develop. That was me. I had done the formative assessment on telling time. And we did some different activities with it and some movement activities within the class. Did much better with it. I did add a piece onto their test. Did much better with it after we had reviewed it. Hopefully it sticks. But we had gotten that. I still have a few who are struggling, especially the quarter after isn't so bad. It's that quarter 2. They want to say, you know, if it's quarter to 3, they want to say quarter to 2. They want to go with the hour hand. That's the one where they're really struggling. Once I made them use their clock and say, okay, show me 11 o'clock. Okay, now show me how many hours have to pass to get to 4 o'clock. And we started working through it that way. They had it. Thoughts? Questions?
You know, it's interesting that they're still, I don't want to say whether it's comforting to know, you know, it's not something they've mastered, because that's where they struggle, but it's good to know that they're, you know, they get that again in 3rd grade. I mean, say for you guys, at least you know they're coming in with some of that. I kind of had them, even this week I had them on a website to kind of work on that. It's the Stop the Clock one, where it gives them a time at the bottom, and it'll say quarter past 5 or, you know, quarter after 5. And what I like is it only counts it right if they have the hour hand also. The vocabulary, plus they have to make.
And there is vocabulary on IXL as well.
Yes.
I've had my kids now from the between the summative and this, they're assigned different tasks on IXL this week on telling time.
But otherwise, kind of had the same things with my group.
So we have them look up words, they have to give definitions, examples, but then you can have them apply that. I mean, then they have their own little dictionary of the words that they need to know.
What I wanted to do is show you where I'm at with this. The assignment now was that they would record themselves. I'll play 1 or 2 for you here just so you can kind of see where I'm at with it. But here was the problem. So they got the recordings and they go, okay, now what do we do with this? I'm like, oh, you email it to me.
iTunes. So you go to iTunes and you go to your app store, or you go to iTunes and then you go to apps, and then you sync up, and underneath it will say, do you want to sync these programs with your iPad?
So I was just going to see if I can play one of these for you. Can you discern his voice? The cool thing about that is that we should be able to show some significant growth. You know, if we do this again then as a summative or for the fun of it, you know, later on to say, okay, did this improve? And I absolutely agree that there is some value in the physical part. I mean, that was definitely why we wanted the visual element.
Well, we should do our share around. Oh, Cheryl, I view this as a big success. I mean, it's formative in your using the application, but look at what you're doing here. I mean, you're integrating a whole bunch of musical performance concepts, important concepts for good performance. You're integrating how do you help students understand those concepts and then apply those concepts and using technology to show them, this is your application so far, what do you need to work on? I think it's a very well-rounded.
I wouldn't have said it was a failure by any means.
No, no.
That's very successful.
It's not only the students learning, you're learning from.
With your statement about the last one, I mean, it's going to take me, I may never ever get anything out of this. And now when she watches it, you can say, this is what I see.
What do you
More here.
Good point. Yeah.
The PLCs are exceptionally beneficial because prior to this, all of our professional development was done more or less bring the speaker, sit through their lecture, and then walk away with nothing that you could apply to your classroom. Maybe it would pertain to you that day, maybe it didn't, maybe 10 minutes did, maybe all of it did. But for the most part, just listening to some hired speaker to talk to you about what the latest trend was really did nothing to affect my classroom. With PLCs, especially in our case where most of the PLCs have been together for several years, so we've been able to create a collaborative group. We're able to go and take our project, which right now is formative assessments. We've been doing this for a number of years. We've gotten very proficient at it as a result of that continual meeting within our PLC. It also allows us the opportunity so that as we take on additional tasks going forward, because now we're kind of ready to move on from formative assessments. We know how to do that as a staff. Now we can look at the next challenge and tackle that the same way. But the collaborative group, the cohesiveness that we have by being together for several years at a time makes it very productive and very open to all those discussions. It brings it back. Part of the requirement is that we have to be able to apply in our classroom. And so it requires changes within the environment as opposed to listen to somebody and then try to fit it in. So I would highly recommend the PLCs and everything that we learn from and that we bring from them.
PLCs have given us time to work as partners in education to build our lessons and focus them with the help of multiple views. It has definitely been highly beneficial to us all.